Hey, it's okay. You can admit it. I know you've been laying awake at night wondering if you can polish concrete in a rock tumbler. So let's find out. Tumble on! So I was just out for a little evening stroll and I saw some cement over here and I thought, will it tumble? Let's find out. Woo! Howdy, Rockhounds. In today's installment of Will It Tumble, we're going to do concrete. Why? Because why not? I was curious what concrete is on the Mohs scale, and it appears to be between a 4 and a 7. The reason being because there's little rocks in concrete. I don't know if you can see these or not. There's little tiny rocks in there. There's a good example right there. There's a little tiny rock. So yeah, sand, silica, cement makes up concrete. However, cement, which I don't have an example here, is on the Mohs scale a 2 to a 3. The reason being because it's mostly made up of a mixture of limestone, clay, silica, sand. Yeah, so very interesting. Learn something new every day. Such a dork. I do have an example of cement standing on it. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, tumbler's a little noisy. Anyway, there you go. Can you see? There's no rocks in it. No rocks in it. That's cement. So I'm hoping this stuff is pretty hard and we get a nice little polish on it. The red, of course, is probably going to wear off pretty darn quick. All right, so let's load it up in the tumbler with some grit and water for a week and see how it goes. Woo! 60-90 grit. 3 scoops, water just below the top. Oh, I got some glass in there, I just noticed. See you in a week. Woo! Oh my goodness, 1 week later, and look how much smoother the rock tumbling of stage 1 made these. This is great. I am so surprised, actually. Thought there'd be like, I don't know, more pits or something, but it's still rough. You can see that the paint remained in the grooves, the low spots. So that's why I put this smaller tumbling media, if you want to call it that. There's, see the groove? There's a little bit of a groove there, so there's paint. But yeah, this is definitely smoother. Needs to go in stage 1 again. You can clearly see that there's little pits. I don't know. We'll see if we can even get rid of a lot of that. This is behaving like granite in a way with the mica. But yeah, we've got aggregate rocks in here, so let's load them up and do stage 1 again. Woohoo! All right, I've lost track at this point, but I think the concrete has been in stage 1, I think maybe 3 weeks. I'm sorry, I just forgot. I'm so busy. But anyway, yeah, it's probably not going to get much smoother than this because this is pretty porous. But I don't know. Should I do it another? See, you can see that. Here, this one feels a little rougher. Yeah, I don't know. Something's telling me to throw it in for another week. So that would make maybe a month. Yeah, I can see that. You see that? See that? That's not going to polish very well. Well, let's try it. But hey, the rocks that I threw in there so it would, you know, have some more clanging around. Look at these. Woo! Oh, that one's kind of crappy. Anyway. Ooh, look at this. Jasper. Anyway, okay, so back to the concrete. We're going to throw it in again for another week in stage 1. And we still got the paint there. And you know what? That just might stay there because of that groove. Yeah, that's definitely not going to get out. But it's turning out pretty cool, don't you think? I mean, who thinks to polish cement besides me? All right, here we go. Back into stage 1 for another week. Woo! Tumble on! I think we might have to call it good with this concrete. Very porous. It's always going to be that way. So I think that it is time to move it on to stage 2. Yep, looks pretty good. I'm really curious to see if we can even get a polish because it is so porous. But you never know until you try it. So this is going to be an interesting challenge to see if we can get any kind of polish in there. As you can see, it's a bit rougher. Feels a bit rougher. I'm just going to go for it. So here we go. All right, stage 2 we go. Woohoo! I just realized I forgot to show you this one. This one's my favorite because it's just like, you know, an aggregate here. So here, Ooh, that's the potential. Look at those beautiful colors in that. And concrete. Amazing. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. Woo! All right, see you in a week. Tumble on! Stage 2 did its thing. Look at this. Smooth as concrete will get. Yep, those are absolutely beautiful. Again, this is my favorite rock. You can tell that it's not super smooth, but again, it's porous. So we're just going to go ahead and move these on to stage 3, pre-polished. Woohoo! All right, let's load them up. Tumble on. Woohoo! Oh, in case you're wondering why I got the lid off the motor, it's to let it breathe in my uber hot garage. It's like in the 90s. Woohoo! Got these all dried off. As you can see, they are definitely smoother, but we've got some pock marks here. That's going to be the air pockets in the concrete, of course. The paint is gone in this one, so that's cool. Although that would have been kind of interesting to see it polished with paint on it, but this is going to be definitely a character rock with air quotes. I really think this is so cool. And then my favorite one, here, let's get it wet again. Pretty cool. Oh, I know I was going to show you. I was looking at it a little bit ago. Let's see, where did it go? There it is. Those look like little hooves, like little deer hooves. That's what I think. I don't know. Anyway, I think these are ready to move on to the polish stage. I'm probably going to end up leaving them in there for 2 weeks running. So let's get it fired up. Woo! Tumble on! All right, we've got these dried off and definitely have some residue from the polish. So I am going to throw them in for burnishing stage for a couple of hours. So yeah, let's get that going. Dry them off and then have a gander. Woo! See you in a couple of hours. Woo! Just a quick rinse here. By the way, the burnishing or cleaning stage for rocks or concrete is a good way to clean your barrels too. Look at that. It's pretty darn clean. Good enough in my book. Woo! Yeah! Hey, there you are. Is that me? Is that you? I don't know. All right, these are all dried off and they've been through a burnishing stage, so the polish is no longer on them. Well, it's probably actually deep down in there. You can see some white. These turned out as I actually had thought they would before I even started this, but I really wanted to see what they would do anyway. As you can see, the exposed aggregate type rocks in here are what took a polish. And the finer minerals, I don't know if you call that sand or not, I forget, concrete. Anyway, just just go with it. As you can see, that did not, it's softer, so it didn't take a polish at all. When you get too many mineral hardnesses in the same material, ooh, that one turned out nice. That's cool. You're not going to get a consistent polish. Bummer! But I am impressed, because I had all of the ceramic media in various sizes, that there was actually got some here in this groove. Yeah, look at that. See? It's pretty consistent on the rocks at the surface. Now the sides, I was looking at these earlier, the sides didn't do so well. Just kind of hit or miss. So go figure. Why did it get it in there, but it didn't get it there? I don't know. I don't understand. But these are still kind of pretty in their own way. If you just tilt your head this way and that way. I don't know. Anyway, call me crazy, but I can now say that I've officially tumbled concrete. It's no longer laying in a field here where I live. It is now happily in the house in a wannabe, I'm polished rocks, quote unquote. So, I don't know. Should I spray it with Rust-Oleum so they're actually really shiny? If you haven't watched that video, I'll put a link in the description and you can check that out. How to polish rocks in 30 seconds. Meanwhile, this is my experiment. Love it or leave it. It is what it is. Woohoo!